Hey everyone, welcome to Fighting Over the Card Catalog, a snarky look back on young adult novels of the 80s and 90s. I'm Jess.
And I'm Steven, and I'm here to make my wife happy.
We're taking a journey to find out how many terrible, and hopefully some not so terrible books from my youth I can get my husband to read before he reconsiders this whole marriage. Uh-oh, you're laughing. It's like, oh shit, I'm reconsidering. How are you, dear?
You were out last week, so we didn't record, but I couldn't have recorded last week anyway.
No, because you're dying.
Yeah, I was dying. I was sick.
Yeah. So, you didn't even get to enjoy not having a book to read, did you?
I didn't.
I'm sorry.
In a way, but mostly I just sat on the couch and watched TV and drank lots and lots of Gatorade.
I had fun.
And you went to New York.
And I went to New York. I went to upstate New York, which is where we're going to be moving next because I love it.
Oh my God. This book has a 4-star rating.
Oh, we're going to get into that. Don't you worry. I know. I read the reviews too.
Did you really?
Yes. Sunday I did.
Okay. Well, I'm adding this one to my list. I don't normally add the books to the list, but I'm adding this to the list.
Okay. Well, I was going to talk about my trip some, but I think you need to get into this.
Tell us about your trip.
It was awesome for the most part until we had to leave Emily, and then it was very dramatic and sad.
The very crying pictures.
There was much crying that I've not shared with everyone, just you. But she seems like she's doing well. She's been, she started classes last Wednesday. She's already got a job on campus. So that's dope. But yeah, we did all sorts of fun things while she was off on her pre-orientation whitewater rafting thing. We had a Schuyler Saturday where we went to Philip Schuyler's mansion, and the Albany Institute of History and Art had a exhibition on the Schuyler sisters. So we did that on Saturday. On Friday, we went up to Lake George, which is the most beautiful place I've ever seen in my life. And we went to a wine tasting there, and that's what I'm drinking this evening in my Adirondack Winery glass. And yeah, it was just a real good girls' trip overall until we had to leave Emily, and then it was sad. But I love her school, and it's perfect for her. It's a very small liberal arts school. Oh, and I slightly stalked Lin-Manuel Miranda's dad.
And she has the very blurry pictures to prove it.
I do. It's like his nephew that he treats like his son is starting at that school as well. So he was there for parent orientation, like I was hoping he would be. This is all public information, okay? I didn't learn this by stalking, but I took some very sneaky pictures of him. Yes, while we were sitting in the parents' meeting and convocation. And yeah. But we got real close to him after convocation, and he smiled at me. So I'm like, yeah. Anyway, so she's starting her freshman year of college. These people are starting in 5th grade in this week's book. Nothing's Fair in 5th Grade by Barthe DeClements. Do you think that's how you say it, Barthe?
That's how I said it in my head.
Published in 1981. Please tell us about it.
When fat Elsie Edwards walks into Jenny Sawyer's 5th grade class, she's the last person Jenny expects to be friendly with. Elsie is not only fat, she steals everyone's lunch money to buy candy. And when the book club money disappears, the whole class is punished. Nothing's fair. The teacher, Mrs. Hanson, is very strict. Fractions are impossible, and Jenny is assigned as Elsie's guide in the school. Nothing's fair! But Elsie turns out to be a math genius. She helps Jenny learn fractions. Elsie's diet begins to work. Then Jenny and her friends discover that Elsie's fat really covers up a good friend. Nothing's fair, but some things are not as bad as they seem.
So you like this one, right?
Oh my God. There are so many cringeworthy things in this book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I basically I wanted to quote like every other line.
Yeah. I mean, it's like my review for Goodreads is going to be, give this to your daughter if you want her to have a complex. and you know, something I read about the author, she was a school counselor.
Uh-huh.
And she wrote this horrible, horrible book.
But did you read
how the book came about? Well, she would write a paragraph a week on their school board, on the chalkboard.
Yeah.
And then apparently the kids would give feedback on where they wanted the story to go.
Yeah. It kind of helped write it.
Yeah, and so at the end, that was the story that they came up with, was Nothing's Fair in 5th grade.
So, yeah, are you reading any of the good reviews
I have not.
Okay. Well, the thing is like, the people who really like it say that, well, 5th grade, you know, it's real for 5th grade, and the kids helping write it, you know, made it really real. And I think this is from one of the reviews. You know, at the very end, there's like Elsie saying, well, I was fat, not just fat, I was gross, and we were mean, and all that stuff. And so people think like that's a level of frankness that's really good. And because she's not focused on the fat, she's saying that the truth is so unfair. I think it's terrible.
I think it's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, everybody that this girl comes into contact with, the only feature that they focus on is that she's fat.
Mm-hmm. Until she can help them out.
Until she has something to give to them. Mm-hmm. And then she's still fat. But
yeah, and they won't let her forget it.
Yeah. And not only that, but like the mother apparently comes to the school and tells the school that she can't have anything else to eat.
That bitch be crazy.
And then the teacher is like micromanaging her food inside the classroom. I mean, there's just all kinds. There's all kinds of. And then I think about the girls who read the description of this girl, because I don't look at the covers before I read it.
Oh, really?
I read it, and then I sit down afterwards and look at the covers.
And you see how she's not obese on the cover?
I mean, I'm expecting this girl who is more round than she. They talk about she can't fit down the aisles of the school. She is so. She's not just big. She's gross. She's so fat. This girl on the cover, and then on this cover of in Goodreads.
Yeah, in any of the versions,
they're chubby.
Yeah, it's like me, in fact, Glenda.
I cannot imagine a chubby girl seeing this picture and reading this description and thinking of herself in the terms that these people are saying that that this girl is gross
and disgusting. And yeah, I know.
And has no redeeming factors because she is so fat and piggy eyes and oh man. Anyway, yeah. So on a scale of 1 best book ever to Dementor's Kiss of 10, I've got to leave room. I'm giving it a 9.
I am too. For the same reason. It's like, it may not be the very worst book we're ever going to read, but it's
the worst one I've ever read. So.
Ever in your life? Or young adult?
Well,
fiction book.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Well, I can't really say that, because when a book is bad, I just don't read it. I just stop unless I'm forced to by my wife. So yes, this may possibly be the worst book I've ever read.
I mean, I'm not forcing you to do this. You could say no, but but it wouldn't make me happy, and that's what you're here for. So let's get into it. The very first chapter is titled the fat blonde girl. It's the very first thing you read, and it's like, cool, 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 cool. But our main character is named Jenny. And she's pretty much a little bitch for a 5th grader. But so is pretty much everyone in her class, except for Marion. She's pretty dope. But so this new girl, Elsie Edwards, joins her class. And she's overweight. And everybody's all, ew, she's gross. And I don't want her in our class. Her mother comes in and tells Mrs. Hanson, their teacher, that even though everyone can hear, that Elsie is on a special diet and she can only eat what she has packed for her in her lunch. Jenny thinks, I thought to myself that it would take some special diet to melt off all that blubber. Speaking of which, have you ever read Blubber by Judy Blume?
Of course I have.
Yeah. Did it remind you of that?
I don't remember the whole premise of Blubber.
I mean, it was pretty much Fat Girl.
Yeah.
Yeah. Blubber that befriends a skinny girl.
So that wasn't a very memorable one to me, so.
Yeah. Honestly, me neither. But I saw other people mention it and say this handles things better. So, her lunch is a thermos of broth, a carrot, and a pear. That's not healthy. I mean, it may be, I don't know, 1981 diets, I guess it probably is. Because isn't that when they had all sorts of grapefruit diets and you can only eat a grapefruit for a whole week or something? I don't know.
Other things about this book is that it's some of the things that she's describing within the classroom makes it sound like it's from the 60s.
All right.
Like they're eating inside the classroom. There's no cafeteria.
Right.
Hot meals are 50 cents each.
Uh-huh.
I went to school. I was in school in the late 70s.
Right.
And hot lunches were already $1 then.
Yeah.
So I don't know where this school is that doesn't have a cafeteria and.
Well, it reminds me. It just makes me think of. It's obviously not, but it makes me think of a very small school because we didn't have a cafeteria in my Catholic school when there was only 1 grade per class. But obviously there are other classes of the same grade because it's we're in the 5th grade unit. Speaking of the building, so yeah. But that's what it reminded me of. We could order a hot lunch on Fridays if we went over to the church,
Oh, so you literally didn't have hot lunches on a daily basis?
No, we didn't.
And you ate inside your classroom?
We ate inside our classrooms, yeah. At our desks. And
what
that was
grade
weird.
Was this?
4th and 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was weird coming from public school, but I mean, they didn't have one. They had a gym, but that was used for stuff. And, yeah. But yeah, on Fridays we would go over to the parish hall. That's what it's called. And you could order really not great pizza or something else. And that was $1.50, I think. 10 years after this book. So
yeah.
But because it was only once a week, it was very special. And that's awesome. Anyway, so apparently everybody else gets cornbread which is also weird. I never saw cornbread as a lunch thing. Did you?
We would get cornbread on occasion. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it's easy to make big giant pans of it, and then
and
easy to slice.
Yeah. So she asks all these people for their cornbread, and then of course gets in trouble for it. And yeah, like you mentioned before, she's walking down the aisle, and she knocks some books over. And as Elsie stopped to pick up the books, her skirt billowed behind her. Jack raised his hand to smack the huge target. What the fuck? What the fuck? So Jenny tells her mom about it after school. And her mom's all, I wonder why she eats so much. Because Jenny's mom is, a couple of the moms are pretty good in this. They have some sympathy. But Jenny's I thought it was a strange question. Didn't Elsie eat because she was hungry? Maybe not, Jenny. Maybe not. She gets some cake. Elsie gets some cake from somebody else the next day. And the teacher makes her spit it out in the trash can. And it's just so gross. Like, it's just so dehumanizing, the way they treat this poor girl. So Jenny and Elsie are in a group together for a social studies project. The group finishes early, and so they talk. Marianne, the actual kind of nice one, asks Elsie if she's seen any movies lately. And Elsie's like, well, my mom and my sister did, but I didn't get to go because my mom's car only holds 2. And Marianne's like, oh, well, you'll get to go next time then. Elsie's like, no, because my mom doesn't want anybody to know that I belong to her because I'm too fat. Jesus fucking Christ. So, right. There is no lunchroom. There's like, I don't know, a cart comes around with a hot lunch. And
that's what it sounds like.
And they pay their 50 cents to them. And apparently they just like, it's like a thing. They all keep their 50 cents out on their desks, which doesn't seem smart. It seems like, quarters will roll away and get knocked off your desk. And yeah. But so.
That's what you got pockets for.
Yeah, but Jenny's afraid they'll fall out. So different people's lunch money starts disappearing, though. And this has only started happening since Elsie came to the class. Jenny says she won't keep it in her pocket because she'll lose it. Even though she brings a purse to school, when, what's her face? Mrs. Hanson is like going through people's desks and stuff. She tells Jenny to like empty her purse. And it's like, what? Girl, you got a purse. That's what it's for. What are you doing? Whatever. Anyway, so yeah, Mrs. Hanson and the principal get all in on it, but nobody will fess up. I forget what she was saying this in regards to, but Jenny said for the first time that year, I liked her in regards to Mrs. Hanson. It seemed like she was on our side. Did you generally like teachers and think they liked you? Or did you come in like with like this, oh, they're against us mentality? That it seems like.
No, not. There was an elementary school PE teacher who I thought that about. Mm-hmm. There was a junior high history teacher that most people in my class absolutely loved. But if you weren't one of her favorites, she didn't want anything to do with you.
Aww.
Other than that, I would say generally they were not against you. No.
Yeah. I'd say it was probably middle schoolish when I started like not liking some teachers.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, elementary, I don't think I disliked any of them. But I mean, I was a good kid, so, they in general liked me. So, but I don't know. Jenny doesn't seem like aside from the Elsie stuff, she doesn't seem like a bad kid.
Right.
She doesn't seem like a teacher would not like her, but I don't know. She just has a very weird way of, like, it seems like the teachers are against us. Like, it's the kids versus the adults. And I never felt like that. So Jenny goes to the 7-Eleven after school to get milk for her mother, and she sees Elsie there buying candy. And she pays with it with 2 quarters. Just how everybody pays for their lunch. So Jenny's sure she's the one stealing the money, and she tells her parents about it, but her parents point out that it's just circumstantial evidence at this point. And, okay, this is weird. And so Jenny's like, I wish I could call Diane to tell her most girls get to talk on the phone. My dad won't let me touch ours. That seemed really weird. That seems maybe like an older type of thing, like you're saying, like with the 60s, but even then, you could talk on your phone, right? I mean, 10's a little young to be gossiping, maybe, but I was doing that at like 7.
Okay, so I remember a time before call waiting in which your parents would say, you can be on the phone for a couple of minutes and then you're off because I'm expecting a call.
Yeah.
But once call waiting came around, that was no longer an issue.
Until the internet came around. And then when I was in high school, it became a problem again.
Because
don't get on the internet because I'm expecting a call.
Then they would say, answer the call if somebody beeps in.
Yeah, I get it that way, but she's not allowed to touch the phone at all. That's weird. I know I was talking to my friends in like second grade, like for extended amount of times. I mean, like I was in the living room with everyone, but
yeah, I don't remember when I was that young. I didn't really talk on the phone probably till junior high.
So the next day, Elsie has candy at lunch, just what she was buying at the 7-Eleven. But Mrs. Hansen's on it in a flash and asks where she got it, and Elsie's like, it's in my lunch. And so Mrs. Hansen's like, I'm going to call your mother and ask. And later in the day, the principal comes and takes Elsie away. And Jenny and her friends see Elsie's mother's car in the parking lot after school. So you know some shit's going down. And this is where we also get into fractions being impossible. And I'm not kidding. I have such math anxiety that I started feeling anxious just looking at these fractions and problems. Yeah. I'm getting a little nervous right now.
Math was one of my favorite subjects, so I was good at math. I enjoyed algebra. I enjoyed fractions once I figured it out.
I was good at it for a while. I got into pre-algebra 7th grade, which was just one class full of us. Everybody else waited till 8th grade, I think. But yeah, that's when shit started going downhill. And my dad got like so excited. My dad loves math, and he got so excited about me doing that. And he was like, trying to help me with homework and so much. And I think that stressed me out.
Yeah.
Like so much.
Yeah, I remember.
I just couldn't.
I remember a time working with Aaron on something, and we both got so frustrated, he started crying.
Yep, I've been there. And I mean, I never got lower than a C on a report card, but that was bad for me.
Yeah.
I was A's and B's, and so a C was just like, and especially my dad's favorite subject was just like,
I got a C.
Lots of trouble.
In something. I don't remember what it was. And I was so scared.
Yeah.
Because my dad was one who would take his belt off and whoop you as soon as he saw your report card. Okay. And I had seen this from both of my brothers because they would bring bad grades home. And I mean,
what were their bad grades though? Were they C's?
Well, at times they were C's. And but I realized after showing him the report card and him looking at it and saying, well, this is the first one. You usually make better grades. Do better next time.
That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That my brothers got punished because theirs were consistently C's.
Right. Yeah.
And F's and D's at the same time.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, it doesn't warrant that sort of punishment to me, but at least... he was reasonable with you.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
Did you make a C again?
Not that I remember, not that I recall. Well, not in high school. Not in junior high or high school. I did make a C in college.
Oh no.
Yes, because
that's when you're supposed to start getting C's though, or lower grades, because you're learning. It's a whole new.
Yeah, mine was because it was hard to make it to an 8:00 class. When I was joining a fraternity and working.
Okay.
And working full time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm very disappointed.
I also got an incomplete that year. I didn't get a grade on it.
What were they in?
The incomplete was in history, I think.
I am disappointed.
And the C was in music appreciation. I really enjoyed the class when I could make it.
That seems hard to take at 8 a.m.
Yeah. Well, I took this class because a friend of mine said, take this class. It's easy. Oh, yeah. It is a give me A. He said the teacher, the day before your test, will go over the test. He'll basically tell you the question and give you the answer the day before. He said, so just listen to it, write it down, take notes. That's what the test is. So I walk into class the first day, and this guy walks in, and it's not that teacher.
Oh, no.
And he says, I just got back from my sabbatical. I've been over in Florence studying music, and I took on one of so-and-so's classes. So,
oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was not that guy.
So, and like, it would have been hard enough just to listen and take notes, probably. And then it.
Yeah, and then it was the making it to class was the part, was the hard part.
So Jenny doesn't get to see what happens next with Elsie because she gets the flu, and she's out of school for like a long time.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks or so.
Yeah, it sounds horrible. And like her brother gets sick and her mom gets sick. And so even when when Jenny's feeling better, she has to stay home for a few days to like help take care of her brother because her mom's too weak. It's like, oy. But her friend Diane keeps her updated on what's been going on. Elsie has to stay in the office during recesses now. That was another thing. They had 2 recesses.
Oh.
Did you pick up on that? One before lunch and one after.
I did not.
Yeah, that's when she was stealing the money.
Okay.
During that first recess. That's weird. I never had that. That seems like a kindergarten sort of thing. Maybe.
Well, I know we had recess and then we also had PE, but that's not what they're talking about.
No. Anyways. Yeah, and she's not allowed to be left alone during the recesses, so she has to like go stay in the principal's office. And Diane met a girl at this skating party that goes to Elsie's old school and says that Elsie used to steal there too, mainly food, and nobody liked her, just like here. Elsie does start losing some weight, but her mom won't buy her any new clothes, so she has to pull up her pants all the time. And I just want to hug her at this point. One day, Mrs. Hanson calls everybody up to her desk individually to see their grades. And when Elsie stands up, her skirt falls down, and just about everybody sees. And Jenny didn't see it because she was turned around talking. But everybody laughs, and Elsie runs out of the room. And Mrs. Hanson gets pissed, at least, and makes them do math. Like a whole page. And then Diane or one of her friends says something smart. And she's like, you get to do a whole nother page. And she asks Jenny to go check on Elsie. She's in the bathroom crying. And all of a sudden, Jenny grows some sort of a conscience and starts to feel bad for her. And she says, I had never thought of Elsie as a human being, just a fat girl. Ugh. So Jenny actually talks to her. What? Trying to make her feel better, telling her it's not a big deal. Everybody's just going to forget about the whole skirt falling down thing. And Elsie, she's so depressed. And she's just like, it doesn't matter anyway. I won't be here next year because she's already on probation for the rest of the year. And then her mom's decided she's going to send her to boarding school. Like, she's already been mailing off her pamphlets and shit. And Jenny's like, well, I'll be your friend. Kind of hesitantly, but but Elsie's like, you won't want to be my friend after you stop feeling sorry for me. And I mean, she's probably right on that. And then Mrs. Hanson interrupts them, so they can't finish their conversation. But Jenny at least gets on to people who are making fun of Elsie at recess. So she starts to grow a little bit of backbone and sympathy. So that's great. Still not a big fan of her. But you're right. She's having this terrible time with math. She's not understanding fractions. And she gets a D- on her report card. Yikes. That's like, yikes. Yeah. That makes me very nervous. Her parents are pretty good about it, though.
Now, did you actually have D's in school? There was a period of time where we had D's, and then they went away. So you either had an A, B, C, or F after that.
Why?
Yeah.
Wow. That's harsh. So was it like anything under 60 or under?
Anything under 70 was an F.
70. Oh, yeah. Wow. Wow, that's really harsh. When did that start?
I know all of my high school, probably junior high.
So her parents started talking about getting her a tutor, and Jenny remembers how good Elsie is at math and suggests she tutor her. And they could pay her 50 cents an hour, and then Elsie can pay back everyone that she stole the money from. Her parents agreed to it on like a trial basis. Like if Jenny does well on her next test, they'll keep using her. Otherwise, they'll get somebody more professional. As long as Elsie agrees to it. And she does. And So, like, after a week of tutoring, Jenny seems to be getting it because Elsie's able to explain it in a way that Mrs. Hanson just can't. Or Jenny's mom can't. Right, so her friend Diane's mom, well, her friend's Diane's dad died a few years ago, and so Elsie's over at Diane's house. She goes over before school to pick her up, and they're talking to Diane's mom about Elsie, and she's like, after her husband died, she tended to eat her feelings, and that probably Elsie does the same. And if she had friends, she'd probably feel better. Diane's mom is the best one. Oh, okay. Oh, here's some more stress. There's a crisis in the classroom. Mrs. Hanson can't find the Scholastic Book Club money. Oh, shit. That is a crisis of epic proportion. Did y'all have the little magazine to buy? Okay. Yeah. I don't know when those came into being about, but yeah.
Yeah, we did.
And book
I remember. Fairs? And book fairs, yeah. Mostly it was the magazines for us. I can remember in elementary school having the book fairs where you could buy stuff right then. And I think junior high and high school both, it was just getting the sheets where you could check off and turn your money. So well, I loved it, but at the same time, we never had money. So
right. Oh.
If I could scrounge stuff together, I could get something.
Then it was the best. Yeah. Nice. Okay, well, think about
I remember my friend had posters all over his wall.
Oh, yeah, you can get posters.
And many of those came from Scholastic.
Yeah, I got posters and, like, animal, like, trading fact little cards. They were like baseball cards size, but they were all about, like, animals in the little binder with the things like baseball. But they're, like, jungle animals and stuff, and it was great. Anyways, I got it from there. Yeah. So, yeah, everybody blames Elsie, of course, and Mrs. Hanson keeps her after school to talk about it. But the next day, Mrs. Hanson convinces that she herself did wrong. She left the envelope in the teacher's lounge. And Jenny thinks, yeah, Mrs. Hanson should probably apologize to Elsie, but she doesn't do it.
She apologizes to the class and says that she made a mistake.
Yes.
She doesn't specifically.
No, even though everybody knows that she kept her.
Right. And searched her. And
yeah. So Jenny gets a B- on her first test after Elsie starts tutoring her, and Elsie gets an A, of course. And Jenny's mom is so proud of them. She takes them both out and buys them both a record. Elsie gets the Rolling Stones and Jenny gets Elton John, if you're wondering. And it turns out Elsie is an amazing singer. Huh.
So her mom was originally going to give them food as a reward.
Yeah. And Elsie's like, no. And she's like, oh, yeah. But they'd also been talking about records, and Elsie's like, yeah, I don't have any, but my mom does. And when she's out, I listen to them. Elsie has nothing except horrible family. So one day, Jenny and Elsie are both watching their younger siblings. Elsie's little sister is just spoiled and meh. So Jenny takes her brother, Kenny, over to Elsie's. And Jenny and Elsie are playing checkers, while Elsie's sister and Kenny get into graham crackers and, like, have a fight with them and make a whole huge mess. Which doesn't even sound fun, but okay. While Elsie's cleaning it up, her mom comes home, and she is pissed about the mess. Not at Elsie's little sister, though. At Elsie, who she smacks with the broom and sends Jenny and Kenny home. She's a delightful woman. Uh-huh. So Diane's mother wants Elsie to tutor her, too. So they all three go over to Diane's house that afternoon. And at first, Diane's like all standoffish, but she begins to understand the math, and so she loosens up. So much so that she invites Elsie to her slumber party. Diane's mom calls Elsie's mom about it, and all Elsie's mom cares about is her not eating. So Elsie will come over after dinner and leave before breakfast. So the girls have a good time. And Elsie wants everybody over by, she made like these little lavender, I know, gross to you. Lavender how do you say that word? Sachets?
Satchels.
It's with a T.
Mm-hmm.
Sachets?
You think it's sachet?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't think it's satchel?
No, it's with a T, and it's different. Satchel's like on a
sachet.
Horse. See, I don't know. Anyway, she made these things and gives them to all the girls, and they're like personalized, and it's great. And then, they get down to like some real serious, like slumber party talking. And Elsie explains how she became overweight. Like, she was always like a little bit chubby. But then her parents started fighting all the time when she was younger. And whenever Elsie would get upset, her mom would tell her to go get a cookie. And so that just kind of snowballed. She started just eating whenever she was upset. And that's where it went.
Sachet.
Oh, like sachet. Shantae. Yeah? Yeah. Anyways, they ask her, like, if she ever saw her dad after they had broken up. And she said he did at first. Then they had a big fight, and Mama said the judge gave my sister and me to her. Dad just came a couple of times after that. I called him once at his office when I was 8. I was crying on the phone. That's when the kids at school started making fun of me. He said he'd come see me on Sunday. He had a lady with him. They took me out to dinner. I remember she stared at me while I was gobbling down my food. And then he took me back to my house. I think he started to say something about the next Sunday, but I saw the lady shake her head. I haven't seen him since.
What a dick.
Wow. He's a dick. She's awful. I hope she's not still with him, but we don't know. But wow. Poor Elsie. Mm-hmm. Don't you just want to hug her and give her a home?
You want to give a kid a home?
A little bit. A 10-year-old's fine. So Diane's mom comes in and she's like picking up clothes off the floor, and she picks up Elsie's and sees all the safety pins that Elsie's been using to make her clothes fit. She offers to run them through her sewing machine real quick because it's no biggie. And her clothes do look better on her, of course. But the next day, Elsie's mom calls and yells at her, saying if she wants Elsie's clothes altered, she'll do it herself. Cool.
What was her reply?
Do it, bitch. Oh, what was her reply? It was very good.
It was something like, well, good. Do it. It's about time you noticed her, did something for her, something like that.
Yeah, here she goes. I certainly hope you do, Diane's mother snapped back. It's about time you paid attention to her. Diane's mother slammed down the phone. She and Diane had a lot in common. Yeah. Okay, now we get another asshole. Jenny's dad is apparently a misogynistic douchebag.
Yeah, okay. So, I mean, as I was reading it, I was like, who's this guy from the 60s? But then I started thinking about my own dad.
Uh-oh, okay.
Yeah, so my own dad was kind of like that, where he was not going to make food. He expected mom to come home from working.
Yeah.
Have food ready for him before he got home from work. And then it was time for him to sit in front of the TV.
Right.
Yeah, so I can relate to that.
I mean, it's interesting you didn't think of that at first.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, I mean, later in life, it wasn't quite like that.
Well, yeah.
But that was because he didn't have a woman to do it for him.
Right. So, their family needs a new car. So, her mom gets a job on Fridays and Saturdays. And that's it. Fridays and Saturdays. It's like, calm down. He's like, who the hell's going to cook dinner? And she's like, I'll make extra casserole on Thursday, and then Jenny can put it in on Friday. Then he can shop on Saturday morning and go to his bowling and then cook dinner. Well, Friday goes well, except for him waiting to be served, as usual, by his 10-year-old daughter. It's pretty gross. And then he doesn't do anything on Saturday except go bowling. So Jenny wants to go over to Diane's house, and he tells her to take her brother with her. And she wants to know what she's supposed to do with him there. And he counters with, what is he supposed to do with him? Take care of your fucking kid, Dad, dick face. And then he's all frustrated that night and just makes some toasted cheese sandwiches, which you had a big old problem with.
Yeah,
just because it was nasty sounding.
So they're having toasted cheese. So first of all, they're making toast. They put butter on it. They put mayonnaise on it. They put mustard on it. And they put cheese on it. And that's their sandwiches.
Mm-hmm. And you have a problem with that?
Yeah, that sounds gross. Is that your jam?
No, that is not my jam at all. It's disgusting.
Now, I can totally see making grilled cheese sandwiches.
Yeah. But
toasted cheese sandwiches with mayo, mustard, and butter, no thank you.
Well, I mean, you use butter to... Actually, I've read that it's actually better to coat, I guess, your bread with mayonnaise than butter for grilled cheese sandwiches, and it makes it better. It's a thing I've read. Okay, let's go make grilled... No, we don't have anything for grilled cheese sandwiches. But we'll do it. Okay. So the next Saturday, Jenny realizes she's at home with no adults while her dad's out at bowling. So she gets her... This is pretty good, actually. She gets her brother all set up with some wood, nails, and a hammer. Tells him to go at it. He's 3. And, she talks on the phone all afternoon. And it's like, yeah, that's... My 3-year-old brother would have loved it. A 4-year-old?
I think it's pretty dangerous to give a 3-year-old a hammer and then walk into another room to
you probably shouldn't be in another room. But, yeah, I know my brother was hammering.
I mean, all she did was put newspaper down on the floor. Yeah. How is that protecting from a hammer?
I don't know, 10-year-old logic. And so the next weekend, she asks her friends over. And Elsie has to bring her little sister, of course. But that's fine. And soon they all get bored. And Elsie tells them, hey, there's a carnival in town at the shopping center. And she can share her tutoring money to pay for everybody, which is so very nice. But it's a long walk down to the shopping center. And they start to get tired. And Diane's all like, hey, let's hitch a ride. And flags down a truck. Okay. Did you ever hitchhike when you were that age or around that time?
I think I tried a couple of times to hitchhike, but nobody would pick me up.
Well, good.
And then, of course...
Had you ever been warned not to?
Well, okay, so probably. I'm guessing I must have been around where my school was and where I figured I knew most of the people. But no, I haven't actually hitchhiked, though.
Yeah.
And yes, there was a time period where I was too scared to hitchhike because of other things. Yeah. News stories and horror stories.
Yeah. And frankly, that's just somebody you'd have to talk to. No, thank you. But these 10-year-old girls do it. And she flags down this truck and the driver says he's going to end up at the shopping center. So come on and hop in the back. And Elsie doesn't think it's a good idea, but the others talk her into it. And so they all get in the bed of the truck. But the truck driver drives for a really long time, going outside of town and obviously not to the shopping center. So the girls start freaking out, finally. Eventually, there's a light, and they jump out when the truck is stopped. But Elsie's little sister, Robin, leaves her purse in the truck, and so she jumps back in to get it, and it drives off with her in it. She's 7, I believe. So the girls walk to this nearby tavern, and the barman calls the police for them. And Elsie is obviously freaking the hell out, saying this will definitely do it. Her mom's going to send her away for good. And when the policeman gets there, he listens to the story and then takes them down to the station where he calls their parents. Most of the parents are just, mainly happy to see their kids. But Mrs. Edwards gets there and is really pissed. I mean, I don't blame her, I guess, because her other daughter is still missing at this point.
Yeah.
But she's not concerned that Elsie was essentially kind of just kidnapped too. And,
right.
But soon another officer shows up with both Robin and the truck driver and Robin's purse. And Robin's fine. And the driver says he was just going to get a new horn for his truck. And then he'd be going to the shopping center. And he thought they'd enjoy the ride. Whatever, my dude. Okay. I mean, that sounds sketchy as hell. But, like, nothing else happened. So maybe... I don't know. So douchebag dad goes, I guess your job isn't worth all this trouble, eh? My father said to my mother. Or your bowling isn't worth all this trouble, my mother said to my father. I love it. Kind of with her mom being awesome still. So they got this kitten. And she'd been outside all night and things were going on. And her dad asks, like, how old is she? And mom's like, oh, a little over 6 months. Fine, Daddy said sarcastically. Did you get her spayed? No. Did you? Mother asked. She was certainly standing up to Daddy since she got her job. I thought that was neat. So, after this whole escapade, Elsie is definitely in big trouble, and she'll be leaving for boarding school summer camp in a month. Because she just can't wait to get rid of her, I guess. Jenny asks her mom to talk to Elsie's mom to stop her from sending her away, but it doesn't do any good, even though she does try. And then Jenny thinks to ask Mrs. Hanson. And it takes some sweet talking, but Mrs. Hanson agrees and says she'll do it the next week. And it seems like it works. Mrs. Hanson got Mrs. Edwards to agree that if the principal would admit her for the next year, she can stay. Which also made me feel like it was a small private school, maybe. You know, the principal admitting her and stuff. I mean, it could happen, I guess, in a public school, but it seems less likely. Anyway. She is set to stay out of trouble for the last few weeks of school, and she even gets to join in on recess again. What? The girls decide to teach Elsie how to play softball, and she's not very good to begin with, and the boys come over to make fun of her. She gets all fed up and quickly turns around to yell at them, and the bat she's holding accidentally goes flying, hitting one boy, Jack, in the mouth. And he starts bleeding pretty bad. And Jenny begs him not to tell on Elsie before he's led away. And she calls him that night, and he had to get 6 stitches, but he's not a narc, so Elsie's not good. On the last day, they get their report cards.
Now, what's the girl's name that starts with an S?
Is it like Sharon or something?
Yeah,
Cheryl? She's no good.
It sounds to me like she's trying to get him to tell on her.
Mm-hmm. Sharon,
because she like insults him and tells him not to.
Oh,
yeah. Don't say anything, Red.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing that he hates being called Red.
Right. And Jenny's like, what are you doing?
And this isn't the first time that she's been like, why are you guys hanging out with Elsie?
Yeah, Yeah, I didn't talk about her, like, really at all, because, I mean, she's pretty much the meanest mean girl in their little group.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it seems like Jenny and Diane recognize that at least a bit, and they're just like, well, that's just kind of the way she is. Which is how mean girls really get going. I think you just let them slide by with it.
Yeah.
But anyway. They get the report cards, and Jenny's happy to see she ended up with a B in math. Great job, Jenny. Elsie's the happiest, though, because attached to her report card is a note from the principal saying that she's welcome back next year. And on the way home, Jenny asks Elsie why she's been looking at her shoes a lot recently. Elsie says it's because she can see them. She couldn't before because she was too fat. She says she was gross. Jenny says they were mean to her. Elsie says they were, but she was all mouth. And that seems to sum it all up, and they can run off to go swimming. The end. They learn that she's a person and shit, but it's only after she starts losing weight. And it seems
she only
like...
becomes a real person then.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it seems like. I mean, it seems like it should be good that they, like, befriend her. And, you know, I hate it. What do you think about that?
I mean, made it pretty clear already.
I know.
That the only reason they liked her is because well, first of all, they started having some type of empathy only once she saw her crying and figured out that she had no friends.
And saw her as a person.
And that her mother doesn't even like her.
Right.
That's the only time that's when she first even saw, okay, she has some kind of feeling. She's just not some animal.
And it's more pity feelings. And Elsie's like, yeah, you won't want to be friends with me once that goes away, which is like really insightful, I think. But she's probably dealt with it before. So Elsie does make a brief appearance in the follow-up book to this called Sixth Grade Can Really Kill You.
Okay.
Which I have. And then she's the main character in two young adult novels called How Do You Lose the Ninth Grade Blues and 17 and In Between, in which at least she discovers that losing weight doesn't solve all your problems and terrible parents will scar you for life. I have not read those two.
So did this author have a whole thing where she started with fifth grade and just started going up?
It's the first one she wrote. She actually has a fourth grade wizards one, which is the same class, and it dealt more with Jack and Marion, apparently. I never read that one. I don't have it. So.
All right.
But yeah. So yeah, I'm pretty sure she wrote other ones too, but this and Sixth Grade Can Really Kill You are like the big ones and the ones that I read back in the day. So, did you ever treat any kids like this? Or were you treated this way?
I mean, I guess there were a couple of people who acted kind of that way toward me, but not as like a whole bunch of people. No, not really. Not that to that extent. There were a couple of people who bullied because I was poor and wore used clothes. And there were time periods where I was a bit chubby.
Yeah.
Yeah. And wearing old clothes.
Oh, no.
But, yeah, I was eating my fillings. But it wasn't everybody, it wasn't the whole class or anything.
Yeah.
Most people.
You didn't walk into the class and say, oh, gross, I can't believe he's in our class.
Right.
Yeah. And you were never mean to anybody?
I mean, okay, so there was this one girl who lived
I've got two, so don't feel bad.
Lived down the street from my friend, and she was pretty large. And she rode a motor scooter. And when she would drive by my friend's house, we would yell Jelly Roll at her.
Oh my God.
Look at Jelly Roll.
Did you have a motor scooter?
No.
So suck it.
I wanted one, but I couldn't. Yeah.
She's cool as hell.
I can't think of anybody else.
So in fourth grade, the day I started at Catholic school, there was this one girl who was not there. Her name was Maria, I think. It was a long time ago.
Well, I mean, it's Catholic school. It's a good chance.
Well, she was from Peru.
Okay.
Too. So, yeah. But
How
my
did
friend...
you solve that problem?
Like Maria? This wasn't Sound of Music. No. No, but, the people I was meeting were like, oh, yeah, Maria's not here. You're not going to like her. She's fat and she's always late because she stays home watching Mr. Wizard. I remember that explicitly.
Right.
And I was kind of like, I didn't say it, but I was like, well, yeah, Mr. Wizard's dope. Remember Mr. Wizard? Man, he was the best. Not so much I'd be late for school watching him or anything. But yeah, I thought that was a really stupid thing to not like her for. Yeah, she was a little bit chubby, but she was very nice. I wonder if part of it was because she was from Peru as well. These are all, white little Connecticut kids. Yeah, she was
Okay, yeah.
She
I
may have
remember
been the
Miss
only
Wizard.
person of color I went to school with the entire time I was in Connecticut.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then instead, in like middle school in Minnesota, there was a very, very large girl that nobody talked to, including me. And yeah, I mean, just nobody talked to her, and it seemed like she had like no. I mean, I'm sure boys made fun of her. Like none of us actively did,
Yeah.
but we just didn't talk to her, or like
Right.
even like notice her. And I remember this one time she dropped a pencil box full of like colored pencils and stuff in the hall, and I stopped and helped her pick it up, and the teacher whose classroom was right there, afterwards said, like, that was really nice of you to help her. And it's like, that's so sad.
Yeah.
And it's like,
there were a few.
And I feel bad about, I hadn't thought about that girl till I read this book. And I'm like, wow, I hope she's okay.
And there were a few larger girls that I made a point of talking to. One was pretty isolated, where she didn't really have any friends, and she had acne, and on top of being short and round. And I would like to think I helped her come out of her shell a little bit, because we would have classes together, and I would make it a point to talk to her and to get her to talk.
You're such a fucking good guy.
And I think she actually started talking to other people because of that. So that.
Look at you.
Are
you friends with her on Facebook or anything?
No. When I moved back to Palestine, she was working as a waitress at a restaurant, and I saw her then. And she seemed like she was just talking to people fine and stuff, but like before I started making it a point to do it,
do you feel like you saved her life?
A little bit. A little bit.
Wow.
A little bit.
Wow.
I mean, I don't know what happened after school. I know she had a few kids, but, I don't know. Maybe she would have been just fine.
You need to look her up on Facebook. See what's up. If you remember her name. I don't remember this girl's name. I think it was Christina.
I remember her
something.
First name. I don't know if I remember her last name. I don't. And I don't have a yearbook.
No?
I've tried to find a yearbook from like our senior or junior year. But that's not. We had 80 people in our class, so there was probably 70 yearbooks from our class.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Isn't that like the sort of thing like that libraries keep or something?
Maybe some.
I don't know if they still would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The school probably has some.
Oh yeah,
maybe, but I don't know.
I don't know. Well, your book's not really great reading. So what are you reading? Oh yeah, killing it with the segues today.
Yeah, I remembered Mr. Wizard now after I saw his.
Oh, did you have to look him up?
Yeah.
Oh man, I loved him. Maybe he was a little too after your kid time. Like maybe you're too old for him when I don't know when he started though.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was for me watching it with the kids or what. So we've had 2 weeks. I read Beastly Bones, which was the second book in the series that I had listened to the third book.
Yeah. Yeah, when I was looking it up for our current read thing, I was like, oh, he read the third one.
Right. So I read the second one, and then Magic Misfits, which is Neil Patrick Harris and Lizzie something. I gave it 3 stars. There were some very childish kind of writing things in there, but I mean, I guess that was what it was geared toward.
Oh, okay.
I would have given it like a 3.5 if there was a scale, but Heretics Anonymous, I liked it. It was
Good
from
name.
High school. Yeah. So this kid was a junior and he was forced to move to a new town for his dad to take a new job. Even though his dad had promised him that he could finish out high school in his previous high school. because his dad was a salesman, and so he tended to move fairly often. Not only that, he's made to go to a Catholic school, even though he's an atheist.
Oh, dog, I feel you, friend.
So I'm going to read the book descriptor for it because I kind of like this one. Michael is an atheist, so as he walks through the doors of St. Clair's, a strict Catholic school, sporting a plaid tie, things can't get much worse. His dad has just made the family move again, and Michael needs a friend. When a girl challenges their teacher in class, Michael thinks he might have found one, and a fellow non-believer at that. Only this girl, Lucy, is not just Catholic, she wants to be a priest. But Lucy introduces Michael to other St. Clair's outcasts, and he officially joins Heretics Anonymous, where he can be an atheist. Lucy can be an outspoken feminist. Avi can be Jewish and gay. Max can wear whatever he wants, and Eden can practice paganism. After an incident in theology class, Michael encourages the heretics to go from secret society to rebels intent on exposing the school's hypocrisies.
Hell yeah. That sounds good.
So I enjoyed that. And then I read the 4th and 5th Spy School.
Right, which I heard a little bit of.
Spy Ski School and Spy School Secret Service. And then Nothing's Fair in 5th grade.
How many more spy schools are there? Or are you done?
I can look it up. Let's see. There appears to be 7. So I've got 2 more.
All right.
And I started the 3rd book in a trilogy of Nixia Uprising.
Have you read the first 2?
Yes.
Or are you just going to start reading the 3rd book?
No, I've read the first 2.
So, yeah, the trip really, I did not do much reading over the 2 weeks. I'm still working on the book I was reading last time we recorded. I'm very close to being done with The Storm Sister, the second in the Seven Sisters series. I was so close. I could have finished it last night, but a character in it told the main character, hey, I'm going to tell you this like really upsetting story, so be ready for it. And so I'd been reading it, and it'd been, like going really well so far, but like now World War II started in the story, and I was like, oh, this is going to go real bad real fast. I'm just going to go. But I'll probably finish that tonight. And then on the trip, I brought my 2 smallest books I'd checked out from the library last time in a tactical move to fit in my backpack nicely. I only read half of one, called So Here's the Thing, Notes on Growing Up, Getting Older, and Trusting Your Gut by Alyssa Mastromonaco. It's like a biography. It's like essays and interviews and reflections and stuff. I know her because she's on Crooked Media podcasts. Pod Save America. Yeah. She's on that sometimes, and also on the All Woman podcast, Hysteria, which I really recommend to anybody. It's political and feminist but super duper funny. Anyway, she's on that. She started her career as an intern for Bernie Sanders when he was running for Congress when she was in college, and she was Obama's director of scheduling when he was a senator, and then through like the presidential race, and then she was White House Deputy Chief of Staff for operations in the administration for Obama.
Nice.
And so, yeah, but she's like only in her 40s now, so she's like super awesome, and I love her a lot. And yeah, I'm really enjoying the book so far. I just,
I was going to ask, why did you only read half?
Just talking and, accidentally getting into Pennsylvania and shit.
Nah.
Yeah, when I was typically really bored, it was dark, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But it's quite good. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I've got George R.R. Martin's A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. And this last book from the Nixia series. And then I need to...
Don't do that.
I had a whole lot of books on hold. And they all came off hold. So that's why I've had a long series without having any personal enrichment books in between.
Yeah, that happens.
Any knowledge books. So I really need to focus on, after these 2 books, getting something like that.
Speaking of things on hold, today we're recording is September 10th, and it is publication day for Margaret Atwood's sequel to The Handmaid's Tale called The Testaments. Yeah, and it doesn't have to do with Offred. It has more to do with the aunts. This is and like the next generation of like the babies that were born from the handmaids. Anyways, yeah, it just came out today. I am 4th in line. So hurry up, everyone else in McKinney, you other 3 people, and I hope you got it today. The first person, and yeah, because I'm really psyched to read that. Congratulations, Margaret Atwood. You're a scary ass woman, but you're a genius. All right, that's it for this week. Yes? Yes. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's after 10. It's almost 10:30. We had soccer to watch, and you worked late, and yeah.
Happens.
It happens. So I started a Facebook group today. I haven't invited anybody into it yet, but I will. I'm really interested to hear everyone's opinion, particularly on this book. I want discussions of all the books there. It would be great, or anything. But yeah, since it has 4 stars on Goodreads, apparently a lot of people actually like it. And we obviously do not. So what do y'all think about it if you read it? I'm sure some of you did. But yeah, let's have fun in there. A listener messaged me today asking if we're still doing the fashion alerts, and she's planning on doing some DIY looks of Claudia and Stacy's, and I'm like, that is amazing, and the group would be an amazing place to share those. And like, if anybody else has interpretations, your own DIYs or drawings or whatever, yeah, that would be awesome. So I'll be putting a link out everywhere for it, or just search for us on Facebook. It's a closed group, but obviously I'll let you in if you're cool enough. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
If you're not a fat slob.
Oh my God, don't say that.
If you're not gross.
You're not super gross. Ugh, I can't believe you're in our Facebook group. This fucking book. Anyways, if you've been enjoying our show more than we enjoyed this book, please share it, tweet it, and tell your friends and enemies. Rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts and all other podcast places. Check out our website, fightingovertheCardCatalog.com. And find us on Facebook, Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube, and Pinterest at Fighting Over the Card Catalog, Twitter at Card Catalog Pod, and my personal one at Just Digress. Next book we're reading. This is kind of more of an obscure series, I'm pretty sure. It's the first book in Palm Beach Prep series. There were not a lot of these. The first one's called Lonely Heart, developed by L. Wolf. And it's got the super duper Walmart 2-for-1. So you know it's good. Pretty sure there will not be an audiobook of it. We're rereading the books of your childhood.
So you don't have to.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.